Mic check, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. Microphone check.
Stand by, Wes, stand by.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Mic check, 1, 2. 1, 2.
Okay, one more time.
Hey, hey. Mic check, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3.
All right,
Mic
perfect.
check for Zoom, 1, 2.
All right, we're good.
Copy that.
All right, we're going to get started in a moment. At this time, I would like to ask our IT professionals to start the audio tape recordings of the regular meeting and to admit any members of the public who have chosen to listen to the meeting online. And I'll pause for confirmation.
The public has been let in, and the recording is started.
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Lisa Washington, and I serve as Senior Deputy General Counsel of the Housing Authority of the City of Atlanta, Georgia, also known as Atlanta Housing. Before the regular meeting is called to order, please consider the following announcements. We welcome the members of the public who have joined us in person in the Pecan Room at the Atlanta Housing Headquarters located at 230 John Wesley Dobbs, Northeast, Atlanta, Georgia, for this regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners of Atlanta Housing. We also welcome the members of the public who have joined this meeting via audio conference. There's also an option to view the meeting live streamed, and members of the public can find the link in the notices section on the Atlanta Housing website. Please be advised that any members of the public who wish to address the board during the time for public comment period must have signed up on the public speaker sign-up sheet at the front door of the meeting room prior to the time the meeting is called to order, or have sent in a comment by the time set in the notice of the meeting. A link to the meeting agenda, board resolutions, and presentation materials are available for review by the public by accessing the Atlanta Housing Board Docs link on the Atlanta Housing website at www.atlantahousing.org/notices.
All right, good afternoon. My name is Larry Stewart. I serve as the chair of the Board of Commissioners, and I'm calling this regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners of the Housing Authority of the City of Atlanta, Georgia, to order. Today is Wednesday, November 19th, and the time is 2:05 p.m. Will the Deputy General Counsel take the roll to determine a quorum for the meeting?
Yes, Commissioner Stewart.
I'm here.
Commissioner Kirsch.
Here.
Commissioner Alvarado.
Here.
Commissioner Bronfman.
Here.
Commissioner Elliott.
Here.
Commissioner Hooker.
Here.
Commissioner Martin.
Here.
Mr. Chair, there is an important person quorum present.
All right, we've got everybody in the house today. Awesome. The agenda has been presented to the board for review and comment. Are there any proposed changes to the agenda? All right, hearing none, may I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
So
All right, I don't know if I heard. Who's second? All right, there we go. I think I'll just go with, I heard Commissioner Elliott, and I heard a second from Commissioner Hooker. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Did not hear any abstentions or opposition, so the motion is carried.
Commissioners, the minutes of the regular Board of Commissioners meeting held on October 22nd, 2025 are before the board for review and comment. Are there any proposed corrections to the minutes of the regular Board of Commissioners meeting?
All right, hearing nothing to that question, may I have a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting that was held on October 22nd, 2025?
Moved.
All right, may I have a second? So moved by Commissioner Bronfman and seconded by Commissioner Elliott. Is there any discussion related to the motion to approve the minutes of the October 22nd meeting? Hearing no discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. I think I saw all ayes. No opposition, no abstentions, and the motion is carried. Have any members of the public signed up to speak or provided comments in advance of the meeting?
Mr. Chair, no members of the public have signed up for comment, nor have any members of the public submitted any comments in advance of the meeting.
All right. As Commissioner Kirsch always says, your loss, public. Please decide at some point if you'd like to. It's a famous phrase. Maybe not yours. All right. I retract that attribution. I'll make it my own. All right. Let's continue with our meeting, please. I think. Let's go. Let me move past this page. Probably back. So there is no executive session, and so now let's talk consent agenda. Please be advised that at the Board of Commissioners September 22nd, 2021 meeting, the board approved a consent agenda protocol. There are 6 resolutions appearing below that received unanimous votes of approval at the Board of Commissioners Real Estate Committee meeting held on November 12th, 2025. The collective group of resolutions on the consent agenda will be approved by a single motion to adopt all resolutions and the affirmative majority vote of the Board of Commissioners. If discussion on any resolution or resolutions is desired by a commissioner, the commissioner must make that desire known to the chair immediately following the reading of the consent agenda items, and the resolution or resolutions will be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. Or at the discretion of the chair, a discussion may occur prior to the vote on the consent agenda resolutions. Moreover, if a commissioner simply wants his or her vote to be specifically recorded on any particular item, separate votes may be taken on the resolutions. Come on, I know we're at resolution time. Will the Deputy General Counsel identify the 6 resolutions on the consent agenda for the record?
Okay, Commissioners, before you are copies of the following consent agenda resolutions. Resolution number 2538, the Housing Authority of the City of Atlanta, Georgia seeks authorization to enter into a contract for natural gas and related services for Atlanta housing-owned communities and administrative facilities. Resolution number 2540, Housing Authority of the City of Atlanta, Georgia seeks authorization to revise current business terms and take all actions necessary to complete the Restore Rebuild Rental Assistance Demonstration Program financial closings for 5 Peachtree. Resolution number 2541, the Housing Authority of the City of Atlanta, Georgia seeks authorization to enter into agreements for real estate development and financial advisory services. Resolution number 2542, the Housing Authority of the City of Atlanta, Georgia seeks authorization to take all actions necessary to submit a mixed finance development proposal to the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development and complete the Restore Rebuild Rental Assistance Demonstration Program financial closings for Asbury Point. Resolution number 2543, the Housing Authority of the City of Atlanta, Georgia seeks authorization to extend the Home Flex Agreement for Veranda at Collegetown. And resolution number 2544, the Housing Authority of the City of Atlanta, Georgia, also known as Atlanta Housing, seeks authorization for the Housing Authority of the County of DeKalb, Georgia, to operate within Atlanta Housing's area of operations related to Trinity Central Flats.
All right, may I have a motion to consider, adopt, and approve the consent agenda consent agenda containing resolutions 2538, 40, 41, 42, 43, and 44.
So moved.
Second.
All right, so moved by Commissioner Kirsch and seconded by Commissioner Hooker. Is there any discussion related to the consent agenda resolutions? All right, hearing no further discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. All right, I think I heard all ayes, no nays, no abstentions, and so the motion is carried. That concludes our work for today, and now we will have a report from our President and CEO.
Good afternoon. In this season of, In this season of gratefulness, I just want to really express my sincere appreciation to each of you for your leadership and your partnership. We've had quite a journey throughout my tenure as CEO and definitely this year. But I remain thankful for the thoughtful leadership that each of you provide, not just to myself, to the agency as a whole. But I would also be remiss if I didn't thank the 321 employees of Atlanta Housing. The work, the impact that their hands make each and every day, quite honestly, lifts up opportunities for our families. And I am grateful to serve in the leadership of this fine organization with the work that we're doing to make a difference in lives of the families we serve here in Atlanta. So that was a very smooth consent agenda that we walked through, but I would be remiss if we missed the opportunity to speak about the impact. Before you, commissioners, the work that you continue to lift up, it quite honestly furthers our strategic plan. And what we have before us today are 6 resolutions, of which 4 of those resolutions further the goal to create and preserve 10,000 affordable housing units by FY 2027. Of the 4 housing-related resolutions that were before us, we had a total number of units being created or preserved of 485 units, of which we had about an 83% affordability, which constitutes 404 units. Total development cost, all said, was $140 million, with about $10.5 million in capital investment from Atlanta Housing. Further, one of the resolutions preserved the opportunity for senior housing, 100 units of senior housing along the west side, and also had rental subsidy attached to it. So even though we are on a consent agenda and we're moving very efficiently and effectively, I want to make sure for the larger viewing audience, and quite honestly for us to celebrate ourselves, that we understand the impact of the work that we did just here today. Two additional resolutions we had really spoke about the partnership relationships we have. One, of course, with Gas South, where we will continue to utilize their services to help provide energy resources for age-owned facilities, and that would include our residential facilities as well as our commercial facilities, one being J.W. Dobbs that we're sitting in today. And then the second was really how do we supplement and become smarter about doing the work that we do, and that's supplementing the capacity of our real estate group by approving the procurement of a bench, establishing a bench for real estate development services. And this will help not only boost our capacity, but really streamline our operations as we continue to move forward with real estate development activity. We are excited that and we shared with the commissioners moments after it happened that the government did open back up on last week, and we recognize the impact that the shutdown had, not just on our operations here within the authority, but quite honestly the ripple effect it had among our families across the city as well as this country. And so right now there is a resolution in place to January 30th, 2026. And what that basically means is that we're operating from a housing authority perspective, we're continuing to operate under our previous budget levels. We are hopeful that there will be an actual budget approved in advance of the continuing resolution expiring on January 30, 2026. But as you know, and as we've sort of traveled through this together, we'll continue to monitor the current environment and make sure that we take a proactive stance for the operations of this organization. I do want to take an opportunity to just remind each of you what our three priorities are as we look at any type of action that's taking place on the federal level. One, first and foremost, we want to ensure that the 43,000 individuals that we currently have housed remain housed. We are hyper-focused on that. Secondly, we have about 21 development-related projects that are under active construction right now today in the city. We want to continue to keep that pipeline moving. And then third, we would like to ensure that we have the right operational capacity to do 1 and 2. We have since added a fourth. That fourth is really focusing in on our residents and ensuring that as we continue to lift up the work of the agency and the resident renaissance, that we are intentional about activities to make sure our families are able to grow to a level of economic self-sufficiency and freedom. And so those will continue in light of any pending shutdown or any other federal action. We will stay hyper-focused, making sure that we lift up those priorities. We also, though, would like to acknowledge the work that we did with the City of Atlanta. The mayor's leadership during the shutdown, specifically around families that receive SNAP benefits, is to be commended. The city stepped up in the Atlanta way to make sure that our families had resources available for food. The mayor also issued a moratorium, and that moratorium was on any evictions in publicly subsidized housing developments as well as water shutoffs. When you think about publicly subsidized, that's not just Atlanta Housing. That includes all of the public sector agencies. So that would include Atlanta Beltline, Invest Atlanta, City of Atlanta, Fulton County Land Bank Authority, as well as the Department of Grants and Community Development from the City of Atlanta. And so we're continuing to work with the mayor and his team to ensure that we're addressing the needs of our families during this critical time period. We also wanted to make sure that even with the moratorium, that we were communicating to not just our residents, but also our partners on what the requirements were. So working with communications and the Housing Trust Voucher team, we made sure that we had active communications out so that people could understand what the moratorium actually meant, what the expectation would be of residents during the period of the moratorium, as well as any outreach that was required for our landlords. And so if there was ever a time where we should track our goals and understand the impact of the work we're doing is really right now, because we need to understand how we're currently utilizing not just the dollars but the resources we have in front of us, but also how we can maximize and leverage that as we expand our partnership reach. So I am so happy to say that as of September 30th, we're at 79.8% of our goal to create and preserve 10,000 units. I am so happy to say. I almost felt like I need to be in a Baptist church to repeat that. And that's critically important. You know, I remember walking through the doors of Atlanta Housing some 5 years ago when we were not measuring what our impact was. And so to be able to concretely measure our impact, and not only be able to measure it, to be able to show it in the virtual space, I think is huge. And what's really exciting about that is when we think about the 79.8%, 46% of that are new units. And those are new units that have come online. And so we're excited about the work that we're continuing to do with our team. We're also continuing to provide stable housing. We've exceeded the goal that was initially set by providing more than 2,100 families with stable housing, as well as making sure that our residents have access to resource fairs and impactful education programs. And we'll share a little bit more about that later. In addition to that, this board was really crystal clear on the fact that they wanted the agency, many of you came on the board in 2023, that you wanted the agency to focus in on communications and partnerships. Well, both of those efforts have been lifted up in such a yeoman's fashion that I'm just very, very proud. And during this last Veterans Day, we received 2 highlights of our residents who actually have VASH vouchers, but 2 highlights showing the importance of housing, providing stable housing to our veterans here in the city. And then we've also maintained a continuity of our internal operations. We have 2 additional members of our senior leadership team. That communication has previously been shared with you, but I would like to formally introduce our General Counsel, Sharice Reyes. She's right here. As well as our Senior Vice President of Procurement, Mr. Clarence Ingram. We are definitely excited by both Sharice and Clarence joining our teams. They both come with a wealth of capacity and experience, and they've already realized that no day is the same at Atlanta Housing. So when we think about our opportunities to thrive, you know, that really deeply goes into the work of how we touch our residents. And so just on October 30th, we hosted our fall fair, and it's so much more than trick-or-treating. It's really an opportunity to give a safe space for our children to be able to participate in the holiday, but also have access to health resources as well as free haircuts. In addition to that, we started Wellness Starts at Home. Wellness Starts on Your Plate, workshop, and that's really empowering our residents with healthy tips for food nutrition. We want to make sure that we're doing a holistic approach for our families, so we're providing them stable housing, but we also want to make sure they understand quality food choices as well. We've relaunched our learning spaces with United Way, and we'll be hosting a salon series on tomorrow with the CEO of United Way, Milton Little. But learning spaces is so important because it gives us the opportunity to provide a space for. And what we found is it's mostly been our seniors, our grandparents, to actually bring children to Atlanta Housing to participate in some type of learning and or reading exercise. And that program is basically focused on children from infant to age 5, but it really is a safe space, and it's at full capacity each week that we do the program. And then on Saturday, each of you should have a flyer. I strongly, if you want to see Atlanta Housing at work, much beyond the sticks and bricks and the infrastructure coming up out of the ground, please take a moment to join us on Saturday as we have our Thanksgiving resource drive. This is an opportunity for us to provide food for our families for the holidays, and so we are excited. We have volunteers of our staff that will be here. The food drive itself will be held in the Bethel Church parking lot, and we'll start at 10 a.m. We're scheduled to be here from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Last year, we actually, I believe, finished around noon. And so it's a great chance that we may just based upon the need, we may not be here until 2 o'clock, depending upon the need and demand. We have our families that have already registered, so that we can make sure that AH families do benefit from the food resources that we have available. So I think that's somebody we all know. This past Saturday, we had the awesome privilege, and I know I mentioned partnerships, but and all of you are our partners, but we have a phenomenal partnership with the Community Foundation for Greater Atlanta under the leadership of Commissioner Kirsch. And I just want to take a moment to acknowledge the recognition that she received as a leader, but also on behalf of the Community Foundation on Saturday with the Urban League of Greater Atlanta. Commissioner Kirsch received the Grace Towns Hamilton Financial Empowerment Award, but it's really so much more than that. It really speaks to the initiative that she's been leading for quite some time, called the Worth Initiative, that focuses on enhancing homeownership opportunities of people of color. And Commissioner Kirsch, we're proud of you. We thank you for your leadership, and we thank you for your partnership.
Thank you, Terry. It's good to be with y'all.
I got so excited, I kept going. That's why they told me they didn't want me to have the clicker. And so Atlanta Housing also was acknowledged on Saturday by the Urban League of Greater Atlanta, and the award that the agency received was the Lyndon A. Wade Workforce Development Award. And Lyndon A. Wade was a long-time workforce development advocate here in the city of Atlanta. And what was very pleasing for all of us of the Atlanta Housing family was not the award, but it was our residents that were represented. We had 2 residents that were represented in the video, and Rashawn and Brianna. And while their journeys are different, their paths are different, what was the same was the fact that both young ladies wanted to make sure that they leveraged the opportunity for stable housing to grow to homeownership to create generational wealth for their children. And what was really just heartening for us was Brianna. She started with our program. She actually started our program, and she was out of compliance. And so we worked with her with the Urban League in order to get her in compliance. And by out of compliance, she was not meeting the work requirement. We were able to work with Urban League to provide the necessary job training and resources to upskill her. She is now in a leadership position at Chase Bank, as well as she's enrolled in a 4-year institution to receive her college degree. And so that's why we do this work. We have the awesome privilege to utilize housing as a stepping stone to help our families grow to a level of economic self-sufficiency and freedom. So we're not just changing the infrastructure of the neighborhood, we're actually building people at the same time. And so we were very excited about that. And then I mentioned Mr. Eugene being recognized in Living Alive as well as Atlanta Voice. And it just really speaks to the stories. We're on a mission of storytelling, not to just talk about, the number of units that are on the ground, but really how those units impact, how the Housing Trust Voucher Program we have, how those things impact, quite honestly, the everyday lives of the families that we serve and the individuals that we serve. And we also putting a face to it. And the work that we're doing here in Atlanta is now becoming a national model from a storytelling aspect. The Moving to Work Collaborative has asked us to help lead the National Committee for Storytelling, so that we can get this story out about the residents we serve, the communities that we're able to impact, but more importantly, how we are efficiently and effectively leveraging public dollars to really provide housing stability, housing opportunity, and housing assistance to the families we serve. I thank you for your continued support. I thank you for just being on this journey with us. And as we go into the Thanksgiving holiday, I wish each of you a wonderful Thanksgiving. I will entertain any of your questions at this time.
Are there any questions or comments from our commissioners?
I would like to thank you all for coming out, volunteering, and providing food to the residents in the senior buildings, Atlanta Housing. It was wonderful. I don't know if you all have completed that task yet, because it's a lot. It was a lot of work.
Yes.
And don't think it's not, that we know that it's a lot of work. And I want to thank you all, because you don't have to do it. And the seniors love it. So thank you again for volunteering, and thank you all for providing those meals for the seniors and the disabled as well, because we have both. Thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner. Dwayne, would you like to speak as to whether or not we're continuing for Thanksgiving as well as Christmas?
We have not completed all of those yet, but we are marching on through the next couple week or so to do that, and then we plan to do something for I was going to say Christmas holidays, for the holidays at the end of December, and we will provide a schedule to the board well in advance of that, so perhaps you can join us for some of those events.
One more thing, too. Thank you for recognizing those individuals in the senior buildings that serve on the resident association, because that's a lot of work as well.
Yes.
So thank you all for recognizing those individuals. Thanks.
Absolutely. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, I've had the pleasure of working with the Atlanta Housing, serving the residents of different high-rises. I think we have one more left.
Okay.
Yes.
Awesome.
But
Thank
I
you, sir.
truly have enjoyed it so far.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Martin.
Awesome. All right, well, I will just make 2 comments and then I'll get us out of here. So first, for those who have not gone to the resource drive, I will say I did attend last year. It is phenomenal, the impact that they make. So if anyone can go out, not only to help volunteer and support them, but I want to just give them the thanks in advance. I will be out of town, and so I will not be able to join this year, but certainly I'm excited about seeing that continue and expand. I'm sure it'll be even better than was last year. On a Saturday when they are when they do not have to work. So I just want to say that's something that I think we should just make sure that we acknowledge. And then the last thing is that this is last meeting of the year.
Oh,
so,
wow.
So we act like we was going to see each other again, but I do want to wish not only Thanksgiving, but also Christmas and Kwanzaa and Hanukkah and all the different holidays that come up. Actually, New Year. Let's hope I see everybody in 2026 that I see here in 2025. So with that, I just want to say thank you to the staff and to our leadership here at Atlanta Housing. We know that throughout this shutdown, it was a really, really tough time for a lot of people, not only those who work, but also those who live it. And so I just wanted to say thank you again for that, and let's hope and pray that we do not have to go through another experience like that coming up in February. So with that said, unless anyone has any other comments, I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Okay, yeah, don't fight each other. We don't need a second, and so all in favor of adjourning today's meeting at 2:31. Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. All ayes. Thank you, and you guys have a great holiday year.